Welcome back to Retro Wednesday, the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the 1995 G.I. Joe Sergeant Savage toy line. And I've got to say that this is one of the two different directions they went. In 1995, they went with this, they went with Extreme. Take a little bit look at both of those. And then I'm going to take a look at everything, every figure, every accessory. And now I don't have a complete collection. Even though this is a really cheap toy line to collect, I already spent more on this than I intended to. And we'll take a look at this. I at least got one of each figure, which is what I wanted. And I really just wanted them to have one or two weapons in each hand. And I don't really need them to be complete. So I'll show pictures to fill all of that out. But the reason I'm doing this is because nobody else has done this. And I'm pretty sure there's not enough interest. Nobody else will. So let's take a look at this Sergeant Savage 1995. After a Real American Hero was done. Coming up. Alright, so starting out, let's take a look at the size and the scale. This is an original G.I. Joe Real American Hero Duke, and kind of in my mind, when I see Sergeant Savage, I kind of feel like that's their Duke in a way, so that's a good comparison. You can see that he's a little taller, uses the same stands as I'm using with the Real American Hero stuff. This is a Strongheart from Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm looking at that saying that he's still shorter. So this guy's more of like a 4.5 to 5 inch scale. These are 3.75 inch, and then these still kind of classify as 3.75 inch scale. What I'm surprised to see is that they're not smaller than the crazy Extreme stuff that we saw. And I always look at Extreme because they're so bulky as being big and tall. They're not really tall. They're bulky, and these came out apparently in the same year. I only really remember these. I don't remember these at all, but it was two different things going on, and I don't understand exactly why. Maybe one day I'll talk more about this Extreme stuff. I'm not really too into it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I do have some carded stuff from the 90s somewhere, but this stuff just showed up in lots for free. Maybe down the road. I'll fill it out a little bit more, talk a little bit more about it. We'll see how it goes. The show itself, I really think, only had a pilot. I didn't find more than that anywhere, but maybe there's more to it. I do have to say that it is quintessentially 90s, and it feels like a TV show from the 90s. It's not as enjoyable as I would like, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. And with that, it's kind of like Captain America, kind of getting unfrozen from cryo sleep. And he's a super trooper. Then he leads this ragtag bunch of fellows, and then he goes up against Blitz, General Blitz, and they've been waiting for 50 years. So how old are they? They've been waiting for 50 years to fight back. Anyway, yeah, that's enough of that. Let's get into the figures. All right, we're going to get started with D-Day. And version 1, I don't have them 100% complete, but I think it comes with a missile. I think mostly I'm missing a missile, maybe something else. I'm going to try to put up the accessories, like what is missing, as I go through each one of these. But looking at him, he looks okay. Doesn't look a whole lot different than Sergeant Savage himself. So that's one it's kind of an issue to me that they all look so similar. But whatever. Let's do his articulation. His head can go a little bit side to side. It's not full G.I. Joe articulation. And then we do a 360 right there on the shoulder. You do have the bicep swivel, and you've got that. And there's the hand. Hands can hold a little bit better. They're actually a little bit too big. Does have waist swivel, and no O-ring. O-ring is the thing of the past now. Goes up to there, to the back, so it's just got like a little joint in here, which I'm not against. I'm not against the way the legs are done, but there is kind of a neat articulation there. So it's not really the worst articulation, but it is in some ways a little bit step backwards because people say the O-ring is better. But with this, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with these figures. I think the figures themselves are not horrible, especially for 1995, especially for what they're going up against. They're still like better than a lot of the 90s ones. They're better than Jurassic Park, what Mattel was doing. So they were still kind of beating everyone on articulation. And then we have a missile launcher that goes with it. We should have a missile that's about this color. I mean, all the missiles I think are formed exactly the same missile, just different colors. He does have a couple of rifles. I'm not even trying to say what they are. And then this one has a scope on it. Weird that no handles. None of these rifles have handles, so you're supposed to just, I don't know, hold it like that, and your fingers in the trigger, and Weird. I always thought that was weird about these. And that's weird because when I was collecting Real American Hero stuff, several of these accessories were in there. I already had some. Then this is the same Shockwave gun, I believe, except it's in this tan color. And then we have this right here. This is like, looks like a full automatic kind of thing. Nice big old clip going on right there. But he can only hold 2 things, so all these extra accessories are a bit of a waste of time. We're going to see his version 2 coming up here in just a bit. So let's get into version 2. Here's D-Day version 2, so I'm definitely going to have to show a picture of the accessories and probably what he's got going on with this contraption of his, which is kind of like a pulley system in a way. It's strings to make them do things, and yeah, but here's the figure. Mine's kind of rough. Couldn't get all the whatever. Maybe he's burnt or something. Face is all jacked up. Anyhow, he has sort of some camo to him instead of just plain old green. And he has this gun. Now, we're going to see this gun several times. But he's got that gun with him, and he's got other accessories that I showed. And then this thing here. And I'm not sure how this contraption works. I don't have the other part of it, but there's another piece to it. Then you have, I think what you do is you connect the other pieces to something else way up here. And then the string is used to move them around. And then he has a launcher, no missile right there. And again, like, this is already too many accessories for my shelf to have him holding, let alone the other 5 or 6 that he came with. And it was kind of the battle of who could pack more useless, unnecessary accessories in the figures. But D-Day version 2, and let's move on. All right, so this is Dynamite version 1. And he looks interesting. He's got a headband on him. He has kind of the boring green look to him, but with extra stuff, different colors. It's almost, in a way, returning to roots. Like, we want this line to have a bit of a feel of the first 10, the lame 10 that were in the green, but we do want them spiced up a little bit more so they're not that lame. That's kind of the way they went. Still, if I were to pick, I would still probably pick the original, the original 1982 figures over these. But I like, he's got, I think he comes with a couple of different knives. There's that Shockwave gun in a different color, and his, for whatever reason, just my particular copy of this guy doesn't want to stay on the stand very well, which sucks for display, but I'm sure he's been rode hard, put away wet. We got what looks like Roadblock's gun, but it's not. It's not Roadblock's gun. It's all completely different. You build it. You like connect this piece to this piece, and then that goes through those two, and it's a nice machine gun. I don't really know. You got to lay him down to use it. He doesn't look up. It doesn't work. So it's just an accessory for like a display. Oh, look, he has that. Maybe he'll get down there and use it, but probably not. Or you could prop it up on something and he could be using it. So that works. Another launcher. And I don't have the missile. I'm sure the missile is the color of these. Usually they match that, but I'm putting all the things up so that you can see it, so you can see the accessories as we go. Dynamite version 1. Now, I do want to point out, if you find that I'm not singing this line praises and I'm not super excited about it, I love how it looks on display. I'm going to put that out there. It's a fun-looking, little, tiny mini display in my Joe display. So it serves a pretty good purpose to collect. There's this helmet. This is Dynamite version 2. You still got the headband. I'm pretty sure it's the same exact sculpt, and looking at it, I'm sure it's the same exact figure, just different paint scheme, and the different paint scheme is sort of a, I would say Desert Storm, but it's not. It's but it is kind of a grayish camo, which looks kind of cool. And it's the only one that looks like that, so that's good. He also comes with his motorcycle. I believe it's packed in. I'm not 100% sure. But I got a motorcycle that came with him, which was fine. And it doesn't do much. It spinning wheels, and the rest is just one chunk of plastic. Or maybe it's 2 chunks of plastic put together with some wheels being held together between it. He can ride it, and come on, ride it, train, ride it. He's got this gun, probably more accessories that I would throw up on the screen. But let's get him on this motorcycle, because that's how I display him, and he can hold on with one hand. This is what they show on Yojo, which I'm going to link the Yojo, so, because it's kind of easy to find if you just search for it, but it's still not the easiest thing in the world to find. Gotta get him to hold on to there. This is not the most stable thing. I think when I display him, I just put a foot down so that he's not really riding it. He's more or less straddling it and holding it up. There we go. There he is on his motorcycle. Getting the job done. Dynamite version 2. Dynamite! The next 6 figures are all Sergeant Savage, version 1 through 6, and they all have something else with them. Yeah, it's crazy. There's 6 versions of this guy. This one is called the Commando, and he looks pretty good. It's kind of the basic one, the one that you would think this is what he should look like. Guess he came out first. And as we saw with the comparison to Duke, more similar to Duke than not. This is one out of all of them. Matches the Duke's color schemes and kind of rides that train. Here he is with his accessories. Now I'm going to flash everything that goes with it up there, but he's got one of these guns. They reuse all these accessories. There's a knife that is actually a shockwave knife, but it's in the tan color. This one is... Now these guns are probably not the right exact color, but just kind of show what it comes with it. And that was my goal there. And yeah, not too bad. He does come with a helmet, and there's several different colored helmets. I might not have them all correct. He does have a headband on there, which is all right. It's kind of cool. Does have some grenades in there. He's got a watch, because timepiece, you know, that's before everyone has a cell phone and checks their time on their watch. Still pretty cool looking overall. And I kind of like the way these are pretty solid figures, and they look okay. It works for a display. This one is the Commando version 1. Let's get into the version 2. Okay, so version 2 is called the Combat version, and he comes with a launcher. And I'm not sure if this is the correct color or launcher or not. Don't really know. At this launcher might actually go with the Stormtrooper figure, but he does come with a launcher. And then the missiles in the launchers all look like this, except they're different colors. So, but he does have black accessories with this one, I believe. I'll have the correct ones posted in editing, I hope. But it's still, it's one of those things. Why track down all these accessories? A pro tip is it's cheaper to buy them in the package and then just open them than to track down loose complete. I found that out. Loose complete is more expensive because you have to generally track them all down, find accessories, than it is to just buy them in the package and open them, because there's plenty in the package still. So this guy's got like a tattoo right here, which is interesting. He's got an arm sleeve over here. Why doesn't Sergeant Savage have the same tattoo on all? Okay, we won't get into that. He's got an ammo belt there. Do like the tampograph on his helmet. Not a bad looking figure overall. And I mean, similar, same. Do you need 6 of these? Well, if you want a complete collection, you do. This is the combat version of Sergeant Savage. Number 4 is Cryo Chamber Sergeant Savage, and very common figure. Probably have 3 or 4 of them. I don't know. Every lot has one in it. I'll post up all of the accessories and stuff like with all of them. But a pretty decent looking figure. He's got the same torso as 2 of them. Maybe even... No, 2 of them are exactly the same. And then the ammo belt's painted a little bit different color. The grenades are... Okay, it's the same torso as 1. The grenades are a little bit different color and all that kind of stuff. But the big deal is that he comes with his backpack. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to, like, shoot some sort of air, water, or something. And there's supposed to be a hose, I guess. I really don't know. And then he's got this same gun recolored. He's got this knife. Now, there's 2 different knives that they come with. They got this and a shockwave figure knife. And then we've got, I guess, his lunch pail. He's hungry. I'm sure it's an ammo thing. I mean, dudes don't need to eat when they're in the field. They need to have ammo, right? Lunch pail would make more sense. Okay, then here he is in his cryo chamber, which is supposed to make him look like he's frozen in it and all of that. I'm sure he wouldn't be wearing his hat, his helmet, but this does not stay closed very well. It does not stand up for display. It's like, I don't know, Han Carbonite chamber kind of thing. Would have been a cool idea if they did Han's Carbonite like this, but they didn't. Or if they made this and copied Han Carbonite, that would have been interesting too. Well, they just did this. It's a cheap clamshell. Looks like something you'd pay 50 cents for. I don't know. But anyway, that's the whole point of this cryo guy. And there he is. Let's get into the next one. Sergeant Savage, version 5, in his... What do you call this? The battle bunker? Something along those lines. It's like a battle bunker. And I will admit that at first this looks just like a cheap piece of stuff stacked together. But in a display, it looks kind of cool. It is kind of cool. He's got a missile launcher over here that just is sort of static. It's plugged in. He can shoot that. There's a spot for his foot. You can move him around with this. So it is kind of cool. And it is a different figure than the rest of them that we see. I don't really want to pull him off because he's hard to get on there, and I like having him displayed like that. But the colors are different. It's the same as this version 2, but he's got some camo pants and slightly different colors. So slightly different colors to the version 2. Now, he does have this kind of camouflage going here. He has these barbed wires. I'm missing a barbed wire. And yeah, it's kind of okay. It's kind of fun. It looks good in a display. It adds something to it as a little bit. The only play set in the line. And you got a bad guy one too. It's exactly the same. The colors are different. We'll take a look at that when we get the bad guys. Version 6 is a Melloway. The Desert Fatigues. I'm getting a lot of glare because it's in the bag. It comes with a gun. It's a special colored gun. Was black. I guess it's nothing special. But his helmet you can't get anywhere else other than with this figure. So tan helmet. That's him. It's nothing really special. Here's his card back. Desert Camo Savage. And the 90s were really big about Desert Storm and all that. So really not surprising that this was a figure. And a Melloway, a chase down figure. $15 is about what people are charging for these. Sealed in the bags. And then a loose complete one, people want like 30. It is ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. Next up is the Arctic Stormtrooper. So we're getting into the bad guys. The Blitz Army group. This is the Arctic Stormtrooper. But this one, I think out of all of the bad guys, I like this one the most. It's just kind of cool. It pops with the white. It's got a lot of accessories, and he does a whole lot. I'll have to put up all the accessories on the screen there so that we can see it. But he also comes with his backpack on him that does a whole bunch of different stuff with that. Well, it doesn't really do anything. It just looks like it does something, I guess. Yeah. And then he has what I think is the most annoying yet interesting part of the figure. All these little hoses. So a hose plugs into here and then up into the back of his head, and then he plugs into here, kind of like Centurions. Kind of there's like kind of the not slingshot, Seabat. For whatever reason, you just have hoses that connect from his leg to his leg. It makes no sense, but it is what it is, and here it is, and that looks it looks okay. It's kind of fun. I'm missing more of the accessories. I actually probably have a few more. I just they share so many. Anyway, getting into this here. So now this is another shared accessory from the Real American Hero line, which several figures, I think it was Effects, and I think it was the Incinerator Trooper. But I don't have a rubber band on it. If you had a rubber band on it, boom, it would throw that. I don't launch it. I don't need a rubber band, but it is what it is. Kind of fun to see these in different colors, different variations. This is the Arctic Stormtrooper. We're going to see the Stormtrooper at the end. All right, now we have General Blitz version 1, and I have to have him forward leaning a bit because he has this ridiculous giant backpack. He's got this Dakota ring thing. I think one of the D-Day or Dynamite had a Dakota ring too. Same thing, just theirs was black, his is gold. Let's get into looking at this. Now, this one is version 1. Is there something special about it? I just call him version 1. And he's in the red. Probably what you would be the most common. I would look at this as a baton, like a Sergeant Slaughter baton. They call it a grenade. Okay, so it's a grenade. Whatever. He's got this backpack. And I think it does an action feature. Push the button, and the wings pop out. And then you have a ring. Okay, so this ring is actually a compass. We are facing whatever. And he's got some guns with him. Now, I did my time to match up some guns. Of course, I'm going to have to throw the picture up to show everything exactly what comes with it. But it is still a interesting looking figure. It's an interesting looking figure overall. I kind of like him. And I do like this version the best. I think it's the most common, yet my favorite version of Blitz. Let's look at two more. All right, here's General Blitz version 2. I'm not getting him in frame. I need to get him in frame. That sucks. But now it's the same exact figure, except he's all in black. He doesn't have a backpack with him, like a jetpack. And he still has a bunch of weapons and accessories. I will put up on the screen so you can see what all it is. And that's the wrong gun. Whatever. I just had a handgun in his hand just because it looked good. Got this kind of machine looking gun here, and I guess this guy needs to go with someone else. I'll put him with the next guy. The next one we bring over here is going to just hold it. And then we got this gun here. But again, we see it on the screen there. The difference here in the paint apps, it's funny too, because I think it's the exact same figure. They didn't have anything painted for this stripe on the first one and down the center. But this one's painted red to kind of offset all the black that's with them and make them look a little bit more interesting than just black. Of course, his face is just demolished. I don't show that in the first one, but yeah, his face is demolished. Scarred up and beat up. His hat's not removable, thank goodness. Thank goodness the hat's not removable. Anyway, version 2 of General Blitz, and I guess I'm going to need to raise the camera up just a bit so we can stay in frame. Alright, so if you remember this bunker we looked at earlier, well, his bunker just is the same exact thing. Exactly the same. I've analyzed it, and it's just different colors. Which, of course, is a way to make money, save money. Make money and save money? And I'm okay with it. I'm not mad at it or anything. It's planned obsolescence. They plan the line not to succeed. They plan for failure. So we pack in this guy. Now he's in tan, and he's probably the hardest one to get. He's not hard to get, the hardest one to get. But you can still get one in the package, probably 30 or 40, probably one of the more expensive things in the line to pick up because it's a bunker. It's like a playset, and it's a little hard. Almost impossible to get complete loose, and still cheaper to get it in the package. I'm just going to put that gun in his hand just so that he has something to hold, so he looks good on my shelf. When I make these videos, I'm in all honesty, I'm thinking about how I'm going to redisplay when I put them back and how I'm going to make the display better, which is a little selfish, but still a little bit fun. Anyway, showing a picture of what his bunker looks like and all that good stuff. All right, we're getting into the last standard figure before we get into pilots, drivers, and this one is the Stormtrooper, just a standard Stormtrooper. It's not the Arctic Stormtrooper. And I want to say that it's kind of a cool looking figure. He is the exact same mold as the Arctic, except he's just painted a different color, and he has this cloth, which one of the harder pieces to get. And he is, I wouldn't say he's a really expensive figure, but he's just one of the little bit harder to get because people troop build him. All 4 Sergeant Savage collectors in the world troop build this guy, so they're probably up to 6 now, maybe 7. Okay, I'm just having some fun. This is the exact same grenade, but I feel like it's a baton. I feel like it's a reporter, and don't bump anyone in the face with it. So this is kind of a cool looking figure overall, but he's also supposed to have black straps, kind of like the other ones, the Arctic one, and it would plug into the back of his head and then right here on the chest and then the legs. I don't have that, but it's a thing. It's a thing that you could get your hands on and set it all up. I just don't care. I think the overcoat is really cool, and the accessories that I do have are okay. They're all right accessories. They're nothing really special, but at least they have, wait for it, handles. Unlike Sergeant Savage and the good guys have no handles. The first vehicle we're going to talk about is Grizzly, and I want to say that mine is 100% complete, and when I went to go grab it, I guess somewhere along the lines a missile launched, and it's lost it to the abyss. I don't even know where to start looking for it. And I don't care. It's not a big deal. If I need to pick another one up, I will. But still, pretty cool overall. One thing about this is, people are going to hate this. I like this more than the Vamp. I always wish the Vamp was a real Jeep. Part of it is because I learned how to drive on a military Jeep. And it was a standard. And it was tough as nails. But to me, a Jeep's a Jeep, not whatever they did with the Vamp. And so this gives you an actual Jeep. Now, it's a little big for your vintage Joes. And it is a little big for these guys because their articulation's not that great. You can fold this down if you want. It's and I think real Jeeps, the one I was driving, I think it had that feature. I believe so. But anyhow, the decals really make it pop too. That's another thing to look at on this. He's got a little American flag, a little G.I. Joe Grizzly, and then Savage and stuff there. And then here he is on the back, manning the cannon, which is kind of fun. These are the launching pieces here. Don't lose it. Now, in the 90s, they were really obsessed with triple launching with one launcher. Saves on the mechanisms, definitely. And it still makes it look like you're getting bang, 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 bomb for your buck, but I'm not a fan of them. I think it's just silly, but it is what it is. Back here, there should be some foot pegs too. Strange that, okay, so here's a spare tire. Literally, it's the exact same tire. And I want to say this, that is how it should be. Should be exactly like a fifth tire, fifth wheel, plugged to the back is what you should have in every case that you have a vehicle like this, a Jeep with a spare tire. It should be exactly the same as the other ones. Anyway, you got some foot pegs there, and he's got a little spot here he can chill out, I guess. I haven't really watched any reviews of this. I should have, probably. On this side, we have this rotating gun that's a laser. Pew pew does its stuff. It's kind of fun there. But not much to write home about for the Jeep. The hood doesn't open or anything. Thank goodness. It would probably break off. This does articulate. And that's all for the Grizzly. All right, next up is the Warhawk. Now, this is by far the most sought after piece of this toy line. People that don't even collect the figures, they don't even want figures, want this ship. And I'm not sure if they want the ship, the airplane, if they even want the figure. Now, the figure itself is a pilot. Sergeant Savage, the pilot. Does kind of give me a little bit of some vibes. Like you'd be packed with a G.I. Joe whale or something. But he does come with this gun, which is repurposed in different colors for different figures. Fun, I guess. And he's got a patch on his arm to show he's part of the crew. Or he's Savage. This is a pretty nice looking figure, actually. Overall, pretty nice looking figure. Pretty good shape. When the figures are in good shape, that means the kids didn't play with them very much, so I guess they didn't think they were very fun. So, what do you do with a figure? Well, you open up the cockpit, and there's a little bit of no detail, very little detail in there. And then you kind of just lay him in there with his gun. Don't let him lose his gun. People try to get like $40 for him complete. He doesn't have a hat. Oh, yep, his helmet does come off. Yeah, helmet does come off. Anyway, let's put him in there. I guess we need to bend his knees. Cram him in there. This isn't fun. Big old vehicle, and you got to squash him in there like that. That's no wonder I don't display him in there. It's like, why am I not displaying him in there? I mean, I know I have one on the display shelf, but then I also have one for the vehicle. All right, the vehicle itself is kind of cool. It's just like a World War II kind of bomber. They fixed up a junker in the show and turned it into this. So that's what they did. And yeah, it looks pretty good. It's got landing gear that are permanently there, but these landing gear on the bottom will fold up into place, but I just leave them down. And then you have these guns and launchers, and this does launch. This missile right here does launch, and does it reset? It's a pain. Those are actually missing on most of them. And there's the battery compartment. You do have to unscrew it. So there's that. And aside from all the decals and stickers and stuff, let's look at what's probably the coolest thing is there's this button right here. And it will cause this to work. Now, mine goes really slow. Might need new batteries. You can see the light up and the shooting, and it's very loud. I don't really want to do that for too long. And this spins, but I don't think that spins fast enough. I might need to take it apart to see what's going on with it, but anyhow, there is the Warhawk, which is the vehicle that most people would want in this line, or just the only thing most collectors go after in this line. And it can range anywhere between $100 not working but complete to $200 still in the box. Last vehicle is Iron Panther, piloted by the Iron Anvil. I think it's said right, Anvil. Anyway, let's look at the figure real quick. And there he is. It is a kind of cool looking figure. He's got a black shirt on. He's got a giant tampograph on there. And it's shiny. So it looks like two different types of black paint. Like his strap is shiny and the rest is matte. They had to have done that on purpose. And then no removable helmet. He's wearing headgear so he can like talk on his headset. He's got a nice machine gun going on there. Got another black gun that's been reused. Too much. I think he comes with a shovel. I guess we'll see in editing. But the fun part of this isn't this guy, which he's one of the harder ones to get. If you open this up, so you got to kind of pull up on this. I forgot how I got it open. Manhandle it. You got to manhandle this open, and then it kind of slides up a bit, and there he fits inside there. Not very easily, and you got to squat his legs together in a weird pose, but then let's get that closed back up. You can move this side to side. You can see some detailing when it moves. I've got some detail in there. And like a tank would work, this goes up and down on a ratchet. And you can open this up, and this is where you store the missiles. Missiles go in there. I think there's missiles 3. And then you pull this. Come on. Let's do that again with some adult supervision. You pull this lever back, and then you push it to shoot. That's how it's supposed to work. And then you just open it up and you reload it. And if this looks familiar to any of you Transformers collectors out there, it's because it is G2 Megatron. Yes, it is. It is G2 Megatron. No joke. Or at least that's what somebody said, that this was the G2 Megatron mold for this mechanism, and they just reused it for this. Now, he has fake treads. He's got wheels on the bottom to roll, and it's supposed to have an antenna that plugs in right here. I'm missing my antenna. I don't really miss it. There it is. This is the Iron Panther, an Iron Anvil? Is it Anvil? Alright, so this is my look at the 1995 G.I. Joe Sergeant Savage toy line, and it's a little fun. There are some cool aspects to it. The vehicles probably are the best part. And there are a couple of decent figures in here. I'm not against how they did the design of the figures. They're okay. For the 90s, they competed with what else was out there. O-ring collectors are probably going to be put off by these. They're a little bit taller, they're a little bit bigger, but at the end of the day, on their own shelf, they look pretty good. Really wish they had a more diverse lineup of characters and not 6 Sergeant Savages, but let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tidyr Maker out.